Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to... What did I call this? Why am I so fucking forgetful? It's been like... What month are we on? What year is this? What day is this? I don't know. Are we on? Why? Yeah, we're in May, aren't we? So it's been like 3 months, I think. 3 months since I did a review last time. Kind of been going out of reviews a little bit, even though it's kind of what I want to do, but just so much other shit to do. So, but this is my, what I called it, my What I Review series. If you're not familiar with it, it's where I find games that are going to come out or already come out that I personally find interesting and want to review just for the hell of it, because I'm a decent critic, I think, if you call me a decent critic. So yeah, so I just find any game that's either come out now or is planning to come out and I review it. And today I got something that's kind of something that I wasn't sure if I'd be able to review it, but I thought, you know, I'll give it a try. This is Flame Over. It is a... Reading the Steam store page quotes it as a squirt 'em up and all that bollocks. You could say it's a firefighting roguelike type of game. So yeah, it's a roguelike, so I don't play roguelikes that often. If you count Fast and Light one, then sure. It is developed by Laughing Jackal, and if I'm correct, this is their first game on Steam, so that's something. And it's published by Ghostlight games. Conveniently enough, that's the same company I reviewed the game for 3 months ago. And yes, I have got a hold of a review copy, thanks to, again, Ross for the review copy, 2 weeks in advance, because this is... I think this comes out on the 28th of May. I apologise for the clearing of the throat, there's going to be a lot of that. But I think this is coming out on the 28th of May. It's going to be... I don't know. I honestly don't know, but from what I've heard and from what I've seen, apparently this was originally a PS Vita game. So you could basically say it's a port of a PS Vita game, and it's eventually going to be ported to the PS4. Which... I usually tend to avoid this as much as possible because that's not what I do, but hell, I do it if I need to do it, and that is I'm going to check over the options menu. Anytime it's a port from another console and not intended for PC originally, then yes, I will go over the options menu. And it's actually alright, actually, to be honest, which is awesome. I forgot to mention, yes, it's all completely mouse driven, so they have actually put in the work for that, which is awesome. And as you can see, yes, I am using a controller because I have no way of disabling the clicky sound on my keys. I don't want that to come up on the recording a lot. So, look at our options menu. You got resolution. Yes, I'm playing in windowed. It's a lot easier for me to record this way. Shut up. Character shadows, anti-aliasing, V-sync, blue, motion blur. Always turn that off. Color correction and window mode. For a game that was originally ported, that was originally on the PS Vita, and obviously you've seen the art style of it. Well, you're going to see it when I would jump into the game, but as an options menu for a game as with this sort of art style and, you know, graphical fidelity, it's a decent options menu for what it is, like for what the game is and how it looks. At least they put the effort in. That's something you can credit them for. So it's good. Audio sliders. This music is funky as hell. Like for firefighting, this is some funky music, which is... I'm going to turn the sound effects down because that ticking is really getting on my nerves. And yes, it does have key bindings, as you can see. You can rebind all the keys, but there's not really that much. Which is good. Nice rebindable keys, always very nice. It's always good to have rebindable keys, since many companies don't allow you to do that, so... Like I said, I briefly go over the options menu. I'm not going to get too in depth. I ain't TB, I ain't going to do that. So we'll jump in and we'll see exactly what it is like. And as you can see, there are 4 levels to choose from. That is the tutorial. It's the tutorial, so I would recommend doing that because this game doesn't really show you no mercy, really. It throws you right into the midst of it without any remorse whatsoever. It just goes, get in there, get shit done. So I would recommend doing the tutorial, but there are 4 levels: the offices, the executives, the labs, and the factory. I have only played about 2 hours of this. only because that was enough for me to get an impression and to see all the mechanics of the game. So I got to the labs. And I want to say, is this game difficult? Well, you're going to bloody find out, won't you? So we'll start at the very first level because I don't want to jump ahead and just spoil anything. Yeah, it's a top-down roguelike. Well, not entirely top-down, it's kind of semi-top-down, kind of helicopter-ish. Do I have mouse? Yes, I have mouse, so that's good. I will explain everything. So it does actually look quite nice as a game, like, doesn't it? It looks alright. This is why I said the options been just pretty decent. I mean, it's alright. So let's go over a few things, shall we? What you're seeing up here is your health bar. You usually start off with 3 hearts out of 5. When that reaches 0, you're dead. That's it. That's it, just after that. This timer always starts at 5 minutes when you start a new game. And it constantly keeps ticking down every second. So even after you finish the level, it will constantly keep ticking down. Constantly, so you really have to hurry. Over here's your money. You get money for getting rid of fires and doing practically everything else, like doing things that need to be done, side objectives and stuff like that. And this is where it gets a bit daunting. Right here, the white bar is your fire extinguisher. And down there, that's your hose. They will eventually run out. And when they run out, you have to refill them. Either here, at water coolers, or those water fountains that they have in America. Never seen them in the UK. Never know. Obviously you have your mini-map. You can lock it so it doesn't rotate, but I prefer to have it rotated, which is better. That's your water balloons. They're very effective at clearing a room, but you only have a finite amount. And this is your thermometer. This tells you basically how hot it is. The more that red bar fills up, the closer you are to heat, basically meaning fire. Anyway, so the way the game works is there are 16 levels, each one broken up into 4 stages, with 4 levels with each. So that's 4 for this one, 4 for the next one, 4 for the labs, and 4 for the factories. So 16 levels. And it gets progressively harder and harder as you go along. Now, the way the game works is you control, obviously, little firefighter. I think he's Blaze. I think his name is Blaze. I think, which is, I think that's the developers being clever because of the fire. You move him around with the left stick, obviously WSAD. But since it's one of these games, I prefer to use obviously analog stick because it's just a bit more smooth than using keys. Now you look around with the right analog stick, which this also has a secondary function which I will show you. We'll open the door and we'll get immediately started. Fire! So what you do is, the objective is to go around each level and get rid of the fires that are basically engulfing the entirety of the building. Now, the way you spray the hose is you hold down either left trigger for the fire extinguisher, or you press the right trigger for the hose. Once you press one of those triggers, the right analog stick becomes your aiming. So that's where you aim. Now, I found it a little bit difficult to get used to that because it's times where it's like I need to look around a corner, but I need to stop spraying to purposely look, which can really mess you up a little bit. Oh god. Now that gauge you see there, appearing around Blaze himself, is the fire meter. If that fills up all the way, you will lose a heart, so it's best advised that you stay away from fires as much as possible. Otherwise, it will take something off your health. It will take 1 heart off your health. Now, the one thing I always recommend, go straight for the generator. Now, the reason you have something like the fire extinguisher is for electronics. And, oh god, side missions, definite side missions. Now, the problem with electronics is that they don't respond well to you using water to douse them. So you have to use a fire extinguisher to douse the flames that are on computers, telephones, coffee machines, stuff like that. If you turn off the electricity, that is no longer the issue. You can douse anything with the hose. Now, the game touts itself as having realistic fire spreading physics. Which, as you can see, it's quite a challenge, isn't it? The way the fire spreads around, but do I find it realistic the way the fire spreads? I couldn't really tell you. Come with me, cat! And yes, the idea is to put out every single fire in the building and saving people and cats alike. You don't have to save them, but letting them die will knock off 10 seconds of your time. Saving cats will give you an extra heart, whereas saving people... What the fuck is that fire going? Saving people will give you a minute onto your timer. So it's always best to try and save the people as best you possibly can, so you can get that extra time. And usually you want to kind of try and finish the levels as soon as possible, because as you can see, as I'm cleaning out this room right now, the clock is ticking down quite fast. Break open the doors. When that reaches 0, from what I've read, the Grim Reaper comes after you. If he touches you, it's instant death. Which is not nice, is it? It's really not nice, and so it kind of adds that sense of urgency to the game. It makes you have to hurry. I mean, like him there, if I were to say, like, he needs help, and his health is constantly ticking down so long as he's in the fire. If I get him out, I get an extra minute onto my timer. The only problem with the AI, though, is they follow you in the sense that they don't follow the path that you are taking, they just follow you exactly. The AI is programmed to follow you like down to the specific point. They don't follow the path you took, which leads to the AI constantly getting stuck on the geometry and the levels, which is really bad, especially with a game where you've got to race against time. I mean, if I were to turn corner here, look, they get stuck on the geometry. That makes the game like really kind of annoying in the aspect that no matter what you do, they can get stuck on the geometry, which makes it really fucking annoying, especially when you're trying to save them, because it wastes your time. It's a waste of time, and time in this game is of the utmost importance, because every second you spend doing something is crucial in this game. And I think that's kind of the one thing that I kind of like about it, because originally I was looking at this originally and I thought to myself, could this actually be something that I could see myself playing a lot of? And I was originally quite skeptical about it. Played it for 2 hours yesterday and I found myself weirdly engrossed with it, which is quite a shocker, to be honest, because I don't play roguelikes that often, and the game itself looked kind of basic, and when I heard it was a port of the PS Vita, it didn't fill me with that much hope. Right, I'm going to briefly pause here to explain a couple of things. Sorry, it's just the game's moving by so fast it's hard to explain everything all at once. But the idea behind how, as I showed you with the camera angle with the right stick, is when you're not holding a trigger, the camera rotates as you do. So it's like if you were to enter a room and you start spraying over there, but then there's fire to the left of you there, you kind of have to stop spraying, turn the camera, and then start spraying to get a good look at, like, it's like if I push and let go of the trigger, as you can see. Yeah, and it takes a little bit to get used to that, because it's just, I can't really explain it in the aspect of, couldn't I use like another button? I mean, obviously on an Xbox controller it's very limited, but still, it takes a little bit of time to get used to be able to swap the camera around like that, then stop, then spray, then swap it around again to spray again. Again, it's another one of those things of time wasting, that every second you need. Now, another thing is, as you can probably see, it seems a bit complicated, doesn't it? But simple in its design. All you are doing is playing as a firefighter. That's all you are doing. You're not like doing Surgeon Simulator stuff where you're ripping people's chests open and replacing their heart with a fucking radio. No. You're just firefighting, which is very simple. Well, I'm not going to say it's very simple to do, but it's a simple idea as a video game. But it's not quite as simple as that. The thing about the game which I find quite engrossing is that there is so much to keep watch at the same time. See, as I play, I'm constantly having to keep an eye on how much water I have left, how much health I have left, and how much time I have left, as well as how my heat is doing, that little bar that you saw around the character. And there's just so much that you have to keep watch of at the same time. You have to keep watch of how much health you have, how much time you have left, how much water you've got left, how, like, even the civilians here, how much health do they have, making sure that they're following you. There is so much to focus on, and it gets a bit daunting. And there have been times when I died in a level because I took my eyes off that heat gauge, which you see appearing around Blazer. And I ended up dying. And unfortunately, that's what this young fellow has just gone and done because he got hit by a fireball. Unfortunate, couldn't avoid it. Sorry about that. But yeah, every person you save gives you a minute. Every cat that you save gives you an extra life. So you've kind of got that incentive to try and save as many people as you possibly can without letting them die, basically. Okay, is this an empty room? No. And you see, because he died, 10 seconds off. Now, this is the store. Store and buy items. Don't know what this does. No fucking clue. But the idea behind the fact that it's got such a simple idea behind it, that being just fighting fires, but with so many mechanics you've got to focus on. That being, how's your health at? How much time do you have left? How much water do you have left? Which areas you've checked? It's just, there's so much to think about that I can take it as both as a good thing and a bad thing. I see it as a good thing because I find myself, as I said, engrossed with it. I find myself like quite tense, like having to focus on so many things at once to try and obviously beat each and every level while saving as much people as possible and keeping enough time for me to do all that. Whereas you can also see it as kind of a bad thing, the fact that there's so many things to manage. Like, I'm having to manage my heat gauge, as you see him there, filling up around him, leave the room, so that fucks off. And then I'm having to manage how much water I've got left, how's my health doing, how much time's left, how's his health doing, you know what I mean? It's like, there is so much for you to focus on that it can seem a little bit daunting, that the amount of stuff you have to do just to clear a level and the amount of things that you need to pay attention to is vastly important. Otherwise, it'll be game over for you and you're starting again. Now, if I were to compare this to other roguelikes, for instance, should we compare it to, like, because I will compare it to this because almost everybody I've seen talk about this has compared it to it. Let's compare it to Spelunky, shall we? Because many people compare this to Spelunky, and I can kind of see the similarities in the aspect that you're going through each level bit by bit, collecting as much as possible, saving people as you go. You hang around in the level too long, something is going to come and get you and instantly kill you. And you're gradually progressing through each level one at a time, trying your hardest to save as many people as possible, and as well as getting rid of all the fires, because the main aspect of the game is you are not allowed to leave until you have got rid of the fire. So, oh, she's dead. Oh dear. You are not allowed to leave the level until you get rid of the fire. That's the whole point. Like, the fire has to be dealt with. It doesn't matter how many people you save, it matters on if you've dealt with the fires or not, because if you don't deal with the fires, oh fuck, that was close. You see what I mean? I get so caught up in trying to get rid of the fire that I almost forgot about my freaking heat gauge there. Turn the camera around. You see what I was saying about the camera? It's just one of those things, one of those things. Maybe they could try and change the key binding for that to something else. I don't know. But, like, you're having to focus on so much stuff at once. It can be a bit daunting. But I think it adds that level of depth to an otherwise very simple concept. But it can be a bit daunting by the amount of things you need to do. Having to focus on so much at once just to beat a single level is... I guess that's what you could say is what adds to the challenge and the difficulty of it, because this game is not going to pull any punches. It's not going to hold back on what it's going to fucking throw at you. It's going to come at you with full force, and it's going to show you no mercy if you don't know what you're doing. Which I find, as you know, I do like a good challenge in a game. And I'm glad to see that, because I do like that level of challenge, because it is good and I find it fun. But with the sense of the difficulty, shall we say, the difficulty to the point where, is it difficulty on the same level as like Dark Souls, for instance, or is it difficulty in the aspect that it's just purely unfair by giving you very little information on how to actually do it? Well, like I said, you have a tutorial. The tutorial teaches you every single aspect of the game, so it gives you some subtle hints to what to do throughout each and every stage. But at the end of the day, it's entirely up to you how you do it. Do you want to save people, or do you want to just say fuck them, leave them to die, and just keep doing your job? Because you don't have to save the civilians, that's the thing, you don't have to save them. But they give you 1 minute every time, they give you extra time to do more things, to continue doing what you're doing. See, there's that real danger that you have to save them, you know, there's that level of like depth to it, where I need to save these people, not only to save them, but I need more time to go through the levels and save more people. As well as cats, because I don't want to leave these cats to die. I like cats. So yeah, so it has that level of urgency to the game as well, like I need to save these people because otherwise that's going to knock time off me, but at the same time, is it really important for me to save them, or shall I just let them die? Like, it's that level of what do I do that I like. But do I consider it difficult on the same level as a game like Splunky? Honestly, that's kind of difficult for me to say, because it is challenging when you first start playing it. It's very challenging, but I mean, on my first attempt at playing this, I got all the way through to the labs. That was the third stage. I managed to get all the way there with very minimal trouble. So once you start figuring out what the best thing to do is, the game does become significantly easy at that point. But the only thing is, the roguelike elements of it is what kind of ruins it a little bit on how they've done the roguelike elements. In a lot of roguelike elements like Splunky, like Faster Than Light, you die, you're dead. You go straight back to the beginning, you start it all over. It tells you, you fucked up, go back and do it again. This isn't quite the same. If I were to get to the second stage, the executive stage, or if I were to get to stage 3, the labs, or if I were to get to stage 4, the factory, once I get to that stage is permanently unlocked for me. So I can go back and redo the labs and try and beat it. That kind of doesn't sit right with me, because that doesn't that doesn't make me feel like I'm playing a roguelike. It just makes me feel like I'm progressing through each level as I go. And as each one gets unlocked, it kind of makes it slightly easier then, because then I know exactly how to do it. Now, on another note though, it's procedurally generated at the same time. Yes, the game is procedurally generated every time. So every level you could do is randomly generated. You will never get the same level twice. So that's kind of what adds again to the roguelike element. So even if I were to go back to the labs now, I'd probably fuck it up again, because the level will be totally different from how I played it last time. But is that necessarily a good thing to have that to a game? Have procedurally generated? Because some people, when they do play a game or when they play a roguelike, they like that level of I know where this area is, I know what's here, and I know what's coming. The same level as like Dark Souls, you will gradually learn what's coming, what's there, and you gradually overcome the difficulty. Whereas this is... it's not the same. Like I said, with Faster Than Light with Splunky, you can't tell what's going to come because it's different every single time. And that may be a good thing for you, but again, it comes down to personal taste. If you like procedurally generated stuff, if you don't like it, it entirely comes down to what you personally like within your roguelike games. Me, I kind of don't like I don't mind if it is procedurally generated, because that means that it adds more to the... It gives me more of a challenge, because I don't know what kind of level is coming up next. I don't know how the level's going to look, or where the civilians are, or whatever. But that is always nice, for me at least. But again, personal taste. You may not like the aspects of it being procedurally generated, and some people might. Some people won't, some people will. It comes down to personal taste. But shall we go back to a topic I left? Just go for other things. Shall we talk about the fire? Because this game boasts realistic fire spreading, where the fire, as you can see, spreads realistically, apparently. Now, I ain't a firefighter. I ain't no firefighter, so I can't tell you if it spreads realistically, and I'm not the type of person to play with fire, so I couldn't tell you how fire spreads. But it seems like to me that the fire in this game doesn't technically spread the way it would do as like one... It's like going from one piece of flammable object to another. The fire jumps. I'm just going to throw a water bomb there, clean the room out a bit. It doesn't technically spread from like one flammable object to another. What it basically does is it's like someone's got some sorcery here, because as you just saw then, go on, throw some fire, just prove my point. See, like, I don't think fire does that. I don't think fire comes into a concentrated ball of energy and flings itself across the freaking room. But I think the way the fire spreads is it seems to either spread on its own, just at sheer random, and it is random on if it'll set anything on fire or not. But it seems like it purposely locks onto you, because as you may have noticed throughout, like, as I've been playing, that the fire has always come straight towards me every single time. Like it's purposely programmed to come straight towards you, as it just fucking did then the minute I opened the door. Which I don't know, because it's like like the way the fire spreads is easy to deal with at some points. Other points, however, it becomes to the point where the fire is it just seems illogical for the fire to spread. I mean, it's like if I were to douse these computers here in in water, then it just all of a sudden the fire would just spread to it immediately, and that'd be that. And the way the fire spreads is just, it seems weird more than anything else, there are times when it does show that level of like, oh, it's spreading naturally, but it just seems the way it spreads, as they are quoted saying it spreads naturally, as you just saw then, is it just spits like a freaking fireball at you. Which I don't like that. Like, you see, does fire actually do that, where it just comes into like, where it just bursts out into like a massive concentrated ball of flame and just go flying in one direction? I don't think so. I've only ever seen that in fantasy. I've never seen a real fire do that. So, and that can cause problems, and I guess that could make the game harder, but to me there are times when it's just, it feels a little bit bollocks, if you know what I mean. It feels a little bit bollocks the way it keeps spreading the way it does. That it just flies across the room and set something on fire, or it may just fly across the room and then fly into the next room and set something else on fire, which again could add to the difficulty, but I just don't see the realism in fire spreading like a fireball. That doesn't seem logical at all to me. It just seems like it's probably just part of the game mechanics, but still, like, it doesn't really feel that realistic. I mean, if you're going to boast that it's realistic fire spreading, then make it spread from like flammable object to flammable object, rather than spitting fireballs. But again, like, I guess it's close. I mean, like, another game you could point out on like how the fire spreads really good is Far Cry. It's the way the fire just spreads naturally as you like light a forest on fire, and just the way the fire spreads across the ground like gradually as it goes along. But this is just like fires it across the whole room and just sets anything on fire it touches most of the time. So again, personal taste. If you think that that's a good thing, if you think it's a bad thing, me personally, I don't like. Fuck off. You see what I mean? It's just, it doesn't seem better. It just seems like it's purposely doing that to screw with me. And I don't like that. It's just more of an annoyance than anything else. I don't really find it adds anything to the challenge. I just think it adds more of a job. It adds more of an annoyance than anything else. Which, I don't know, it's just, it's one of those things where it's like, it does have that level of, it does move quite on its own from like flammable object to flammable object, but at the same time it doesn't feel like it just feels like it's being willed over. Will you stop? Follow me, sort out the AI, Jesus Christ, fucking AI. But yeah, so the fire does look quite good, I will admit. It does look really nice for fire. And, well, I mean, look at that looks like fucking fire, doesn't it? I mean, you can go do it yourself, get a fucking lighter and set a tissue on fire and watch it burn. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm just kidding. We don't really want firefighters around to start burning down your freaking house, mate. I wouldn't do it. Just joking about. But yeah, the fire looks really nice. It's just the way it spreads can be more of an annoyance than anything else. And it doesn't really add that much to the difficulty. It does make it a small amount difficult, but in the sense that it spreads just from flying across the room, and fire, I don't think fire can do that. I really don't think fire can do that. Now, where's that vault? She wanted me to find the vault. And yes, you do get the occasional side missions that you can and can't do. I always try to do them because, well, it's fun. I'm gonna nick all your gems, because I'm a bastard. So yeah, there are side missions you can do. If you do them, you get tokens, and those tokens go towards upgrades, which you can buy that make, obviously, the game a lot easier, which obviously you need that sort of stuff. And obviously they count towards a person's save, so you can help them and save them because they give you upgrades, but the missions that they give you can be time consuming, and as I mentioned, you're constantly on the clock every second. So it's one of those things where it's like, do I really want to help this person with this silly little thing of like, she lost a fucking handbag? You what, love? The fucking building's burning down, you're worried about your freaking handbag? It's like, ugh. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, it's just, you know, you see what I mean? How the fire just spreads across the room like that and just into the next. It's more of an annoyance than anything else, and I find it more irritating than I do. I mean, if it were to naturally spread across the floor, I'd be fine with that. What are you doing? Oh, he's fine. I'll leave him there. You can fuck off, mate. I'll come back for you when I'm ready. Oh god, there's more people in here. But yeah, I mean, for a game that was originally on the PS Vita to come to PC, and is it running at 60? Like, do you even need to ask me if it's running at 60? Like, of course it's fucking running at 60. It's running higher than freaking 60 frames per second there. Last time I checked, it was running at like 300 frames per second. But of course, like, obviously it doesn't... Oh god. No! Save the British flag! My precious British flag. Not take the British flag. But yeah, so it, like I said, it doesn't have the sheer graphical fidelity as many other games do. I mean, it's no fucking Crysis 3 or Witcher 3 or whatever. But that's kind of the different thing. You know what I mean? Like, there is a difference between graphical fidelity and artistic design and artistic merit that trumps it every single time. And if you're not familiar with what I mean, you can have a game look incredibly gorgeous in its graphics. Fine, whatever. But having a game that focuses purely on the art style and the way it's designed, in my opinion, it adds more to the game. You know what I mean? Like, making the game look gorgeous. Yeah, sure, yeah, like, you can take the Order 1886 for instance, like, sure, that game looks fucking gorgeous, but the gameplay's fucking garbage. And fine, yeah, it looks fucking gorgeous, but then you come across a game like this, where the art style doesn't have the same level as the Order, but the way the art style is done makes it look unique, makes it look very unique, and makes it look very, very good. And as I've always said, artistic measure, artistic design trumps graphical fidelity all the time, and I will always continue to say that because it's fucking true. And I can dig it. I mean, I like the art style of this. I mean, the art style is very nice. Oh god, I'm out of water. Bollocks. Go to the water cooler, we'll discuss some topics like fucking fire. You see what I mean? Fucking hell. But yeah, but it's like, the artistic style of this game is what appeals to me. I mean, I like the looks of it a lot. I mean, it looks really nice in the way that the way the artists, the game artists there at Laughing Jackal, I think you did a good job on making it look the way you did. I mean, you could have focused on making it look graphically awesome, but you stuck with the art style that you wanted to go with, and to me, that's more... What the fuck is that? Thermal goggles. What's that do? Oh, good. Thermal goggles show me where the fire is on the map. Oh, that's useful. Good thing about that. I'm rich as fuck, mate. But yeah, but I want to say, yeah, like artistic design, artistic measure trumps graphical fidelity all the time. Because the graphics can look amazing, but the gameplay can be shit, like the Order, or it can have a very simplistic art style and artistic design that fits the game perfectly and makes it more entertaining and a much more of a joy to play than it looking gorgeous but being boring to play. You know what I mean? And I can give them credit for that, and I can definitely agree to that as 100%, because I always say that on a daily basis. So big ups to them. So that's also a very positive quality about the game, which I can say, yeah, well done for doing that. So yeah, I dig the art style very much. Even though it may look simple to a lot of people, that's kind of what makes it unique. Like, you have to kind of understand that is what makes it look unique, is its art style. And I can dig that, even if it was originally on the PS Vita. I would say that, yeah, they did a pretty good job of the port. I mean, it works very well with a controller, and I'm guessing it might work very well on a mouse and keyboard. And like I said, it's 100% running higher than fucking 60 frames. So it's all good. I mean, I'm happy with it, and I think it's very, like, they've definitely put some work into it. Fuck, fire, piss off. Jesus Christ. The fucking fire spreading is really irritating. But yeah, I think they've done a really good job with it. And the way it looks, the way it plays, and just how simple in its design it is, on just the fact that you're just an ordinary firefighter, and all you're doing is putting out fires and saving people, but yet it's such a daunting task that has had me engrossed in the game for a while now, because it's like I said, it's its simple design, but done in a way that makes it feel slightly addictive. And it's definitely up there as being one of those roguelikes which are really quite good. I mean, it goes up there, I would say, in my opinion. If I were to state my opinions on this, I would definitely say this goes up there with one of those roguelikes. The only thing I would say is replayability, because many people could say, like, what's the replayability? I mean, the levels are starting to look very samey right now. And yes, the levels may start to look quite samey every now and again. And yeah, you could call that an issue, but you could say the same thing about Faster Than Light and Spelunky. The levels look very samey after a while, but still. And I mean, you've got the replayability, you've got the upgrades, you've got, like, all sorts of stuff to do, you know? And that's what I can appreciate about the game, is just the fact that Laughing Jackal put development time into it, and they put the work into it, and they even focused on trying to make the PC port good, which I would say, yeah, they have. I mean, I haven't had to deal with any crashes, no frame rate spikes, none of that, and it's running higher than fucking 60. Which is always a positive in my book, regardless of how the game looks, but it's kind of obvious it would be running higher than 60 for a game that looks like this. But at the same time, like, I'm glad about that, I'm very happy about that, and I can definitely appreciate this type of game, obviously. I mean, it's definitely quite a game, because I find myself, like I said, strangely addicted to it, and wanting to keep going, even though it's really challenging when it wants to be. But that level of challenge that it has in the way that it's made is what it keeps drawing me back to. And I can, obviously that's a good thing. I mean, isn't that always a good thing? Like, if you're playing a game that's a roguelike, that the fact that it keeps bringing you back in for more, it keeps bringing you back in, wanting you to continue to keep playing it, to keep trying to beat all the levels, even though it's got that level of difficulty to it, that level of challenge. Obviously I consider that to be a good thing. I mean, isn't that a good thing? That should always be a good thing. And yeah, I would definitely say, like, for the asking price, I mean, if I were to say, I mean, the asking price so far, I mean, it isn't available as of yet. It comes out on the 20th of May, as I have previously stated. It's available to pre-order right now, and its pre-order is £5, so the game is about £5 if you pre-order it, and its final release is £8. And yeah, like, that's fucking fine with me. Like, for the game to be so cheap, for you to pay so little for it, and for it to be, like, quite addicting and, like, very well made, that is definitely a positive fucking thing. That's obviously is definitely a fucking positive thing for it to be like that, to be so cheap and for it to be so addicting. Yeah, so yeah, my recommendation for this, would I recommend it? Wouldn't I recommend it? Would I? Wouldn't I? Will you know what the answer is? Well, to be honest, if you've listened to a single fucking word I've said throughout this video, which I don't know how long this video has been right now, I think you can pretty much tell that I honestly would recommend this. I mean, it's a small little game that you can just play to kill time and just mess around with and have fun with. That's a good thing. Like, for it to be like that, let's go back to the main menu so I can get my final thoughts of this out. For a game to be as fun as this, and to be asking for so little, and to have those roguelike elements, I definitely find it fun and entertaining. So yeah, I would say I like this. I definitely like this, and I would recommend this, definitely. I think it's pretty good. I definitely do. For the asking price of about £5 now for the next 2 weeks, or £8 when it comes out, yeah. Because it's a small little game. I mean, it's not like a big budget game that you're gonna spend like 80 hours on because of how much content it has. No, it's gonna keep you playing for a couple of hours. It's a small little game you can just knock out and just play for a little bit. Because of how simple its design is, but the level of depth it has to its design. Like, how the level of depth of its simplicity is what makes it kind of addicting, even though it has such simple mechanics. But yeah, I would definitely recommend this. Like I said, it's £5 now, is available as a pre-order, or you can get it when it comes out for £8, but obviously that's down to you. And so yeah, £5, £8 when it comes out, or your regional equivalent. Yeah, I like it. I actually do like it as a small little game that I could just play for a little bit just to have some fun, because isn't that what video games are about? Having fun and making games for fun? I should think so. I hope other people don't think otherwise. But yeah, that's been Flame Over. Good game, I like it, would recommend it. So yeah, that's been Flame Over. I've been me, obviously. Thank you for watching, and ta-ra.